TV. My name is Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your top stories. President Mnangagwa today presented the State of the Nation address at the opening of the third session of the 10th Parliament, highlighting that Zimbabwe's economy is projected to grow by 6.6%, driven by strong agricultural recovery and infrastructure development. Stay tuned to Newsplus as we shall unpack the President's address. Plus, we shall also give you highlights from today's post-cabinet media briefing. One of the major highlights is the approval of the user pays principle for government housing projects that was implemented on private land. We shall also take you to Mashava in Masvingo province, where police are investigating an incident in which two children, aged 3 and 7, died on Monday in a suspected poisoning incident at a traditional beer ceremony. And for your sport, the Zimbabwe senior men's cricket team squares off with Afghanistan in the first of 3 T20 international matches at Harare Sports Club this Wednesday. We shall hear from Captain Sikandar Raza ahead of the clash. And now for your information on the stories making the headlines, we start with President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who has urged lawmakers to preach peace, unity and hope in the communities they lead as his administration works towards improving Zimbabweans' livelihoods. Now, the president said this while giving the State of the Nation address at Parliament this Tuesday, which coincided with the official opening of the third session of the 10th Parliament. Our correspondent Sherom Njenjema was in Mount Hampden and compiled the following report.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa's State of the Nation address also marked the official opening of the third session of the 10th Parliament. In his address, the president reassured the nation that improving the quality of life for all Zimbabweans remains at the core of government policies. He urged lawmakers to continue preaching hope, peace, and unity in their communities. The president also highlighted economic milestones Zimbabwe has achieved over the past year and others the government expects to unveil. This comes as the country celebrates being named the best country to visit by Forbes International and also ranked among the top 10 countries in the world with improved foreign currency reserves by the World Bank. President Mnangagwa said his government is working to increase the capacity of the fuel pipeline network to 5 billion litres per year, a move expected to boost economic growth, projected at 6.6% this year.
The country continues to enjoy adequate fuel supplies, benefiting from upgrading of the pipeline capacity to 3 billion litres per month. Per annum, Pipeline capacity will be further upgraded to handle 5 billion litres per annum.
Part of President Mnangagwa's address as he officially opened the third session of the 10th Parliament was also to lay out the legislative agenda for the session. He urged lawmakers to expedite bills pending from the second session, including the Mines and Minerals Bill, the Zimbabwe Examinations Council Bill, and the Persons with Disabilities Bill, among others. The president said his government will prioritize legislation that advances devolution. Other laws, such as the Civil Protection Act, are expected to be repealed in favor of more modern legislation.
The outstanding bills from the first and second sessions that were presented to Parliament must be concluded. These include the following: Occupational Safety and Health Bill, the Public Service Amendment Bill, the State Service Pension Bill, the Pipelines Amendment Bill.
President Mnangagwa also highlighted how water scarcity and climate change have become major challenges threatening the nation. He said his administration is working on integrated water resource management and strategic investments to address the issue. After the president's address, the Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, tabled the president's speech in the House.
I lay upon the table a copy of the speech which His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, has been pleased to deliver to Parliament.
The President's speech will also be uploaded on Parliament's website and be printed out in the Hansard.
Parliament now has its work cut out for the third session of the 10th Parliament. From today, focus now shifts to turning today's agenda into law. Reporting for ZTN News, I'm Cheryl Munjenjema at Parliament.
Now, our correspondent Eben Mabunda, who was also at Parliament, gives us reactions from legislators on the President's keynote address.
A grand show of pomp and ceremony marked the occasion. The President, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa, arriving in style to a mounted police escort. On the forecourt, a full guard of honor, 106 officers strong, stood in precision formation, commanded by a major. As the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces took to the dais, the air thundered with a 21-gun salute, while the national anthem echoed across the Parliament precincts, a moment of national pride and ceremony. From there, the President proceeded to give the keynote address detailing Zimbabwe's course over the next 12 months, with a highlight on Zimbabwe's economic turnaround. The legislative arm of government has been tasked with a clear mandate to fast-track several bills still in the pipeline for enactment in the coming months. Among them are pieces of legislation that seek to advance the rights of the vulnerable and marginalized, aligning with the Second Republic's reform agenda.
His Excellency largely touched on all sectors of the economy and all ministries, so to speak. He touched about the state of our economy, the growth rate that is projected at 6%, and indicated that even our detractors are now acknowledging that Zimbabwe is the fastest growing economy in Southern Africa.
Taurai Mangaliso, the legislator for Zimba South and the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee Chair for Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, said the State of the Nation address touched on the need to expedite bills that target the disadvantaged in our society, especially those living with disability.
Particularly the Occupational Safety and Health Bill, of which we are just done consulting the public. So is the Public Service Amendment Bill. In terms of the State Service Pensions Bill, also we are now on committee stage. Then we have the Disability Bill, which I think now awaits the President's assent.
Zimbabwe is on its way to hitting its 600,000-ton wheat target for 2025. This as Zimbabwe seeks to guarantee its position of food security and reclaim its lost glory as the breadbasket of Africa. The President projected Zimbabwe's economy to grow by 6% in 2026, underpinned by agriculture, mining, manufacturing and tourism, the key drivers of national transformation.
I'm happy to say he spoke more about infrastructure that feeds into tourism. And of course, we are the must-visit destination for the year 2025, according to Forbes magazine, and for the whole world, by the way.
The devolution agenda also took center stage, described as a vital cog in the Second Republic and warmly embraced across all 10 provinces as a pathway to balanced and inclusive development.
Parliament to ensure that the legislative agenda is followed to the letter, and we are geared to take that responsibility as Parliament. To the executive, we also expect them to expedite processing of those bills that were raised by the President.
Towards the end of the President's speech, proceedings were briefly interrupted by a power outage, a short pause in an otherwise momentous session. Still, the message was clear. Zimbabwe remains on course towards growth, inclusion, and transformation. Now, the next 12 months will be a period of implementation of the targets here presented in the State of the Nation Address 2025. The economy will continue to take center stage. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Ibn Mabunda, Mount Hampton at the new Parliament.
We now take you to Masvingo province, where police in Mashala are investigating an incident in which 2 children aged 3 and 7 died on Monday in a suspected poisoning incident at a traditional beer ceremony. Now, National Police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati said 14 others, that is 7 adults and 4 children, are critically ill. And during such ceremonies, families gather to enjoy sadza, maheu, and traditional beer. However, shortly after the feast, some began to experience severe stomach pains. And as of now, 4 children and 7 adults are in critical condition at Masvingo General Hospital. Additionally, 3 others are receiving treatment at Mashava Clinic. Now, in other news, the Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare says it has begun efforts to reunite children left behind by victims of the Makhado bus crash with their relatives. And a team from Zimbabwe has since been dispatched to South Africa to assist in tracing and verifying relatives of the crash victims, with the view to give them custody of the surviving children. Now, currently, the children are under the joint custody of both Zimbabwean and South African social welfare authorities.
But immediately that accident occurred, we activated our disaster interministerial committee to meet, and a team was constituted. And fortunately for us, we have an officer from Social Development Department who is there in Polokwane assisting both the children and the deceased to be repatriated back home. It's the responsibility of the ministry to repatriate either living Zimbabweans or deceased Zimbabweans, and will take care of the children, the identification of relatives for the deceased and identification of relatives for the children and those that were injured in the accident. We are treating it as a whole of government approach. All the relevant government ministries, Foreign Affairs, Home Affairs, ourselves and the police are all involved, and we are making very good progress. Those officers will remain in Polokwane until everybody has been repatriated back to the country.
Now, moving on, government has approved the proposal for the user pays principle to compensate for housing projects that were implemented on indigenous and state-owned land. This came out during today's post-cabinet media briefing, where power generation also took center stage. The just-ended winter wheat season was also part of the briefing, where it emerged that the country has surpassed its target. Our correspondent Lato Nyangu gives us a breakdown of the briefing.
On user pays land principle, the model will also apply where regularization is revealed that occupants are residing on privately owned land belonging to indigenous or illegally occupied state land. Information Minister Dr. Jennifer Musore says government will facilitate negotiations between the indigenous and other landowners and the beneficiaries. He said that this will thereby allow the resident to purchase the land directly over an agreed period of time.
Under the principle, beneficiaries of the Garikai Shananani Kushe program will be required to pay for the total development costs, inclusive of the value of the land, cost of servicing the land, and any other associated costs. Some of the benefits in terms of adopting the principle are as follows. Beneficiaries are assured of security of tenure, as they will be issued with title deeds under the Presidential Title Deeds Program. The issuance of title deeds will add value to the properties. The beneficiaries will have access to basic services. Beneficiaries will also enjoy the benefits of properly planned settlements. It will also be easier to enforce in terms of crime management.
Responding to questions on the same issue, Minister Garwe said the model is affordable and provides an opportunity for every occupant.
A model that is very affordable and a lot of opportunities for people that are already there to be able to pay without any extra headaches with respect to how to raise money to pay for. So the model is flexible and it's going to be paid on a, should I say, a mortgage facility kind of an arrangement where it's spread over a given period of time. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, depending on where it is.
Power generation is another aspect that was part of the briefing, with Energy and Power Development Minister July Moyo confirming that they've increased the installed power generation capacity to 3,100 megawatts from 2,920 megawatts as independent power producers continue to come on board. Responding to questions, Minister Moyo said there is a 100 megawatts massive prestige thermal captive power project in Baitbridge, which is at 75% completion. He said despite increased capacity, power cuts will continue as Wange Station is still using old equipment and limited water supply.
The power production that has come from the private sector, especially the captive power producers. And you will see that the new ones that we have reported on are mostly captive power. In Prestige, that is in Baitbridge, they are having 100 megawatts that will come online this year, but it's captive power for their own uses. They are doing mining, they are doing steel production, and the power that they are producing is going to be used for those purposes. Any excess will then be given to the grid. The others that have come online in the early is another 100 megawatts in Wange that is coming online.
The just ended 2025 winter wheat production also formed part of the briefing, with Information Minister Dr. Jennifer Muswere saying the 2025 season has seen a cumulative 588,470 metric tons harvested from over 113,000 hectares. This production is a 500% increase since 2019.
During the current season, cumulatively 588,000 metric tons have been harvested. This volume already surpasses our last year's record production of 562,000 metric tons. An additional 9,489 hectares of the 122,000 planted should be harvested as per plan by the first week of November 2025.
All this is part of government's broader agenda of improving the livelihoods of Zimbabweans through a plethora of policies. Latwe Nyango for ZN Prime in Harare.
Now let's take a quick glance at some of the highlights from today's post-cabinet media briefing. Those were the highlights from today's post-cabinet media briefing. Now, Newsplus will be right back.
The Parliament of Zimbabwe has notified the public that the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders invites members of the public to submit nominations for possible appointment to the Zimbabwe Gender Commission, arising from the expiry of the term of office for commissioners. 44 shortlisted candidates are hereby invited to attend public interviews in accordance with the program available on the Parliament website www.parlzim.gov.zw, Facebook page Parliament of Zimbabwe, and on X Parliament Zim. The names of all 44 shortlisted candidates are also available on the same platforms and in the press. The interviews will be held in Committee Room Number 1, First Floor, New Parliament Building, Mount Hamden, on Thursday, 30 October 2025. All shortlisted candidates are required to be seated in Committee Room Number 3 by 7:30 a.m. on the day of the interviews. Note, candidates arriving after 7:30 a.m. will automatically be disqualified. The Parliament of Zimbabwe is a ZWS ISO 9001-2015 certified organization.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned to Newsplus this Tuesday evening. And moving on with our bulletin, the Kwazana Extension community is still coming to terms with the recent tragedy. 3 weeks after the death of 3 children were trapped in a car boot. Our reporter Talent Gore visited the scene of the tragedy, where parents who lost their children and the community said they are still living in trauma, and she filed the following report.
Standing here at this car park in Kwazana Extension, where tragedy struck 3 weeks ago, residents say this should serve as a wake-up call, not just for authorities, but for every vehicle owner to take responsibility for their surroundings. Where a rusted shell once stood, only patches of dry grass and debris remain. The abandoned car that claimed the life of 3 children here in Kwazana Extension was towed away, bringing some relief to the residents still coming to terms with grief and anger. However, despite the car being removed, parents of the children still bear that trauma with them.
Nokuti zvimamota zvacho zvanga zvawanda ende hatizi kuti zvimamota izvozvi zvinenge zvichibate ipapa pamakar park zvinenge zvakafa, saka tinotongoti kanzuro inenge yatotigonyera zvakanyanyisa.
Zvinhu zviri right nekuti kunyangwe ini ndakarasikirwa asi zvinochengetedzawo vamwe vana ecommunity nekuti ndikatotarisa vana vakawanda vanoda kuchengetedzwa zvibvumire kwandiri, saka zvinenge zvakanaka kuti kana vapromisa sekudaro.
For many parents, the tragedy has been a painful reminder of the need for vigilance at home and accountability in the community. Some say it brings them relief, but also frustration that it took a tragedy to spark action.
It's a very good idea. It's unfortunate kuti zvakuitwa hazvo vana vashaika chinhu chatakatongomirirawo kuti at least chinhu chiri damp chinhu chisiri kushanda chingobviswa dzinogarirei mota dzacho, and also considering zvakaitika izvi zvinotyisa zveshuwa kuti hatichaziva people are now taking advantage of those cars, of zvinhu zvingori stagnant zvakangomira zvisina zvazviri kushanda.
Residents are also calling for the removal of tuck shops, which are now mushrooming across the city without proper licenses.
Nema-tuck shop iwayaya ari padhuze nesu iwayaya ngaabve, nokuti ipapa inini ndikaramba ndichiona tuck shop munova ndimo munonzi makapedzisira kuonekwa vana.
Following the incident, the Harare City Council issued a 7-day ultimatum for the removal of all abandoned vehicles citywide. The crackdown aims to improve public safety and security while also addressing concerns over abandoned vehicles being used for criminal activities. As you have heard from the residents and the mourning mothers in this community, they said that they hope that the city of Harare will take this 7-day ultimatum seriously. They hope that they will get closure at least if each and every vehicle which is in this car park is removed. So hope now lies in what the city council is going to do in this community. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gori in Kwazani Extension.
Now, in other news, the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, ZimParks, has commended the Kariba International Tigerfish Tournament for promoting conservation of tigerfish and sustainable fishing habits. This comes at a time when illegal fishing has been a major challenge in the aquatic Kariba.
Illegal fishing is rampant in Lake Kariba. Poachers often use long-weighted gill nets that can be double-layered to catch all sizes of fish. These nets also entangle and kill other aquatic life such as crocodiles and hippos. Some commercial fishing operations have also been found operating without permits or in restricted areas. ZimParks ecologist John Stretcher believes the Kariba Tiger Fish Catch and Release Tournament held last week in Kariba plays a crucial role in discouraging poachers.
The other contribution is on the promotion of or reduction of illegal fishing activities. So there are many, for example, there are many illegal fishing activities in the lake. For example, use of illegal fishing nets such as twine nets. There are also use of illegal fishing methods and also fishing in prohibited fishing zones.
ZimParks, which is mandated to issue fishing permits and enforce fishing regulations, has been actively conducting awareness campaigns to educate local communities about the dangers and consequences of illegal fishing. But they are convinced the continuation of the tournament will go a long way in complementing their efforts.
So this is a way of educating the fishers and the community in terms of fishing regulations and also in terms of the best practices.
The chairman of the Kariba International Tigerfish Tournament reiterated the organizers' commitment to supporting sustainable fishing and protecting aquatic ecosystems in Lake Kariba.
Preserving fishing for the future. Competition.
With rampant poaching causing a severe decline in wildlife population, the hope is that the ongoing conservation efforts by various stakeholders can be effective enough to end these negative practices. For ZTM Prime, I am Sitachi Siwekwaza.
Now, the government, through the Presidential Community Fisheries Input Scheme, has restocked about 1,200 fingerlings for Pamodzi Fisheries and Fresh Produce Group in Koromonzi, that's in Mashonaland East Province. The group comprised of young mothers who were formerly sex workers and were into drug abuse.
The scheme targets vulnerable women to empowering them through aquaculture by providing training, technical support and market access. For Patricia Sausi, a young mother and former sex worker, the project has changed her life and allowed her to make money through fish farming and horticulture. She said that the project has helped her send her children to school and leave sex work.
Nekuda kweproject iyi yakwanisa kundibatsirawo handichakwanisa kuita izvozvo ende ndakwanisa kukwanisawo vana vangu kuchikoro ndisasapinde mbava nenda kuita so upenyu hunoendera mberi.
The initiative has helped several women who were drug abusers to shun the practice and use farming as a way of promoting self-reliance. Another beneficiary, Sai Usi, who relied on minimal jobs, said that the initiative is a game changer.
Project yakauya isusu tiri mayoung mothers tisina zvataita vanhu taingo tauzvemaricho kuwachirawo vanhu asi neproject tiri kutarisira kuenda kure tiri kutarisira kuendesa vana vedu kuzvikoro tiri vanhu tatakangogara tisina zvataita asi izvezvi tiri kutarisira tichasimudzwa neproject yefish tiri kutarisira tichasimudzawo vanhu.
Various organizations partnered in the initiative and donated several essentials for the project. The African Women Fish Processors and Traders Network is complementing Pamodzi Fisheries through the construction of a hydroponic greenhouse. This is set to help women through horticulture, which will aid in creating multiple streams of income.
As you can see, they already have a 10 by 20 meter pond, and as OfishNet, we want to capacitate them by establishing a hydroponics greenhouse so that we're able to generate a multiple revenue streams for them. Because the other thing that will push them back into their prior or previous activities is when this project is not sustainable and not bringing in a lot of revenue.
In line with the just ended International Rural Women's Day, the government is committed to empowering rural women. The director in the Ministry of Fisheries, Milton Makumbe, said that women in fish farming constitute over 50%, and Pamodzi Fisheries will be used as a pilot project to educate other vulnerable groups.
It's very, very important for us to ensure that we capacitate women, and for this particular group, as I indicated earlier on, it is we want to use this as a pilot program where all other smaller groups or groups across the country are able to see how fish farming can actually improve livelihoods for the various individuals across the country. So obviously this is also a step closer as we go towards our billion-dollar economy.
With the fish restocking season having commenced, the government is committed to ensuring that it attains its target of making aquaculture a $1 billion industry. For ZTM Prime, I am Mashudu Mambo in Harare.
Now, shortly after the break, we'll take a look at a cholera outbreak in the DRC.
The Parliament of Zimbabwe has notified the public that the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders invites members of the public to submit nominations for possible appointment to the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, arising from the expiry of the term of office for commissioners. 59 shortlisted candidates are hereby invited to attend public interviews in accordance with the program available on the Parliament website www.parlzim.gov.zw, Facebook page Parliament of Zimbabwe, and on X Parliament Zim. The names of all 59 shortlisted candidates are also available on the same platforms and in the press. The interviews will be held in Committee Room Number 1, First Floor, New Parliament Building, Mount Hamden, on Friday, 31 October 2025. All shortlisted candidates are required to be seated in Committee Room Number 3 by 7:30 a.m. on the day of the interviews. Note, candidates arriving after 7:30 a.m. will automatically be disqualified. The Parliament of Zimbabwe is a ZWS ISO 9001-2015 certified organization.
Welcome back. We now take a look at what's happening in the world around us. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is facing a rapid nationwide cholera outbreak, one of its worst in decades, worsened by poor sanitation, contaminated water, and lapses in public hygiene. The crisis is rapidly spreading into provinces where the disease was not previously endemic and is being attributed to cross-contamination, lack of clean water, and the public's discipline in hygiene.
Il y a par exemple les transports des malades qui nécessiteraient une ambulance. Mais vous allez voir quelqu'un avec un problème de choléra. Mais comme transport, c'est peut-être transport en commun, comme par exemple les bajaj ou encore sur moto, avec tous les risques de contaminer. Peut-être que contaminer les motards ou encore les gens avec qui on est en train de partager, disons, l'engin pour le transport.
Cote d'Ivoire's incumbent president, Alassane Ouattara, has won a fourth term in the presidential election with 89.77% of the votes. That's according to the provisional results released by the country's Independent Electoral Commission, CEI. And in accordance with Ivorian law, the president is elected by direct universal suffrage for a 5-year term. The final results will be proclaimed by the Constitutional Council following validation, while any candidate has 5 days to file an appeal with the council. Meanwhile, Patrick Hemini was sworn in as the 6th president of the Republic of Seychelles in the capital city of Victoria. And during his inauguration, Hemini vowed to unite the nation, improve the quality of life for citizens through pragmatic policies, and also pursue a path of sustainable development for the island nation. A seasoned public servant and former medical doctor, the 62-year-old Hemini won the presidency in the second round of voting, as announced by the Electoral Commission of Seychelles. In other global news, Venezuela's centuries-old coffee industry faces tests posed by global climate change and U.S. sanctions after years of efforts to its revival. Now, once a leading coffee exporter in Latin America, Venezuela is now working to restore its coffee sector, but erratic weather patterns are threatening the fragile momentum.
El cambio climático nos afectó el año pasado. Venimos viendo que está pegando mucho frío en la mañana. El frío es normal en estas zonas alturas, es normal. Lo extraño es que a las 8, muy temprano en la mañana, pega un sol muy fuerte, que está quemando el fruto en la mata antes de llegar a su plena maduración. Él estando verde lo quema, entonces sale un café de baja calidad. Por lo menos para nosotros que trabajamos con cafés finos de altura, cafés de especialidad, ese café no nos sirve.
Now, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, has reopened several schools in the Gaza Strip since the Gaza ceasefire came into effect, allowing children to return to class after 2 years of absence from school. And 2 years of war have nearly paralyzed Gaza's education system, leaving more than 650,000 children without formal schooling. As the ceasefire takes hold, efforts are underway to gradually resume teaching.
المدارس الآن تفتقر إلى كل شيء، إحنا نعمل يعني بصفر إمكانيات، لكن إحنا مستمرين ولازم نحن نستمر في التعليم مهما كانت الظروف، لكن الحمد لله إحنا شوي شوي حنستمر، وهي عمال شوي شوي بيرجع التعليم، ونرجو إنه من جميع الطلاب والأهالي يبعتوا أهاليهم إن شاء الله للتعليم.
And still to come on Newsplus in our business news, push for greater indigenous ownership in the mining sector.
Vanoda valisi ziitai aye, varimi vese itai aye, vanoda go itai aye, simuza go rako, kurumiza 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 kurumiza, ndokona kungoti oyo, wavalisi zipada moyo, wanyai wana maina na baba, kurumiza 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 kurumiza, mbeu kwayo riku valisisi. Airo ene zvifukuto kana tsikitsi kana zvirwere ende nokupa harvest. Apa ndiri kurevesa very honest. Never listen itai aye. Varimi vese itai aye. Vanoda go.
Mwaka uno tenga mbeu yako ku Valley Seeds usimudze goho rako. Valley Seeds vauchiki vembeu yechibage yepana nePioneer, Goros, ma-traditional grains nema-vegetable seeds ose anopa goho repamsorosoro. Valley Seeds, where farming meets the farmer.
Welcome wherever you are. And Marmoush, room to shoot! He well and truly did! It's an opportunity, what a shot to Sono! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
The Parliament of Zimbabwe has notified the public that the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders invites members of the public to submit nominations for possible appointment to the Zimbabwe Media Commission, arising from the expiry of the term of office for commissioners. 49 shortlisted candidates are hereby invited to attend public interviews in accordance with the program available on the Parliament website www.palzim.gov.zw, Facebook page Parliament of Zimbabwe, and on X Parliament Zim. The names of all 49 shortlisted candidates are also available on the same platforms and in the press. The interviews will be held in Committee Room Number 1, First Floor, New Parliament Building, Mount Hamden, on Wednesday, 29 October 2025. All shortlisted candidates are required to be seated in Committee Room Number 3 by 7:30 a.m. on the day of the interviews. Note, candidates arriving after 7:30 a.m. will automatically be disqualified. The Parliament of Zimbabwe is a ZWS ISO 9001-2015 certified organization.
This is Newsplus coming to you live from Harare. We now give you your business updates. The Pan-African Parliament Ambassador for Economic Development, Bridget Motsepe, says indigenous participation and ownership remains the missing link in Africa's mining sector. South Africa's first black female mining entrepreneur, Motsepe, believes that local ownership is key to ensuring that communities benefit directly from their country's mineral wealth, while also unlocking opportunities for beneficiation before exports.
Zimbabwe has already placed value addition and beneficiation at the center of its goal to reach a $12 billion US industry by 2030. With policies encouraging local processing of lithium, platinum, and gold to grow exports and boost employment. Pan-African Parliament Ambassador for Economic Development, Her Excellency Bridget Motsepe, has emphasized beneficiation as the next big step for Africa. She called on governments to move beyond raw exports to processing and value addition.
Wherever I travel in Africa, I see the ownership is just not yet in the hands of local people. And that is what I would love to see changing, because we have come really far in South Africa, where we find that we implemented laws and regulations that make sure that any license holder of any industry, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's banking, whether it's mining, whether it's farming, you must have indigenous people as part. It's like in the mining industry.
A mining pioneer herself, Motsepe believes the next frontier for the continent is strengthening indigenous ownership, ensuring that locals not only work in the mines, but also hold equity and influence in how the industry is run.
We are the unstoppable Africa because we own the minerals. We must stop exporting the ore without manufacturing any product.
Regional and global investors will be gathered in Harare for the Africa Mining and Energy Summit, where discussions will center on how African nations can take greater ownership of their mineral wealth. Industry players say the conference is more than just talk. It's about opening doors to new markets, partnerships, and technologies.
The main driver of this economy, together with agriculture, and what we intend to achieve is to bring players that have capacity to help us unlock the wealth that is in our minerals in a very profitable way to the country.
As global demand for critical minerals continues to rise, leaders say Africa's next chapter must be written by its own people through ownership, beneficiation, and empowerment that keep the wealth of the continent within its borders. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chitkobo in Harare.
The Zimbabwe Mercantile Exchange, ZMX, and the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange, LCFE, have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at advancing structured, transparent, and technology-driven commodity trading between Zimbabwe and Nigeria. Now, this marks a significant milestone in efforts to deepen intra-African trade and market integration. The virtual signing ceremony, hosted by a joint bilateral secretariat and attended by regulators, trade officials, and market operators from both countries, marked the beginning of a strategic collaboration that's aimed at integrating Africa's commodity value chains under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Still on business, Shuntai Investments cement plant, which is expected to produce more than 800,000 tons of cement annually, is now 55% complete, and the project is expected to be fully commissioned within the next 6 months. This multi-million-dollar project, built with advanced and environmentally friendly technology, is poised to boost local cement production and to also create jobs, stabilize prices, and reduce Zimbabwe's reliance on imports, while promoting sustainable industrial growth. In its October release of Supranational's 2025 Special Edition, S&P said updates to its multilateral lending institution framework could lift risk-adjusted capital ratios by about 10%, potentially unlocking $600 to $800 billion in additional sovereign lending capacity by development banks. S&P uses the measure to judge how much more an issuer can safely lend without weakening its credit profile. A higher ratio means a stronger ability to absorb losses. Those were your business updates. Still to come is entertainment and sport.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Dental checkups, experiments, games.
The mixture is making bubbles and the bubbles have changed color. Our balloon has been filled by carbon dioxide.
We have it all right here on Happy Sprouts. Catch us exclusively on City and Prime, DSTV channel 294.
Let's take a look at what's happening in the world of entertainment. Zimbabwean Hollywood actress Danai Gurira captivated audiences at Vogue World 2025 Hollywood, which was held on October 26 at the Paramount Pictures lot in Los Angeles. Her appearance has caused a stir on social media, with fans applauding her walk, rekindling their affection for her and her role in Black Panther. Now, this year's event celebrated the intersection of fashion, of film and culture, with special focus on Afrofuturism. The sixth act of the evening honored the work of Oscar-winning costume designer Ruth E. Carter, renowned for her groundbreaking designs in Black Panther. Now, the power of collaboration in the Zimbabwean music industry has been cemented in a new track featuring Freeman HKD, Felinandi, Nati O, Pauline, Saint Flo, Clement Magwaza, and Ma99 that was recently released on YouTube. This new track, Simbariri Mauri, has already gained traction on YouTube.
So dandifare ndiri zero, dine zero. We don't wanna touch you no kudaka. Dai wa shidama. Simbariri mahuri, simbariri mahuri. Simba mukakaka, shibata, life inotoda uchichanzaka.
Now, as the festive season beckons and partygoers prepare for nights of pure groove, one name rapidly becoming synonymous with energy and originality behind the desk is DJ Stout. Whether commanding a buzzing nightclub or igniting a festival stage, DJ Stout, whose real name is Bradley Andile Masawi, hailing from Bulawayo, has one mission: to make people move and to do it his way. He has already graced the stages of the HCM Festival, Piano Fest, Bulawayo Shutdown, Shorts and Shades, and House in CBD, among others. Now, his strength lies in fearless creativity, effortlessly blending Niger music with quieter grooves, amapiano, hip-hop, electro, Afrotech, and deep house to craft a sound that's uniquely his own. Those were your entertainment updates, and in sport, we shall take a look at how Raza is banking on experience as Chevron's take on Afghanistan. The Zimbabwe senior men's cricket team squares off with Afghanistan in the first of 3 T20 international matches at Harare Sports Club this Wednesday. This will be the side's first game in the format, a month after booking a berth at next year's World Cup. Now, Chevron's captain Sikandar Raza is banking on the mood in the camp and is delighted to welcome back spinner Graham Cremer to the side 7 years after calling time on his playing career.
I think rightly so, the mood in the camp is pretty bubbly and lively. Zimbabwe is coming off some beautiful results. So the mood, rightly so, is very positive, and everything that we do now suddenly leads up to the World Cup. With the DJs, with the Cremer's addition, he brings wealth of experience, a great guy to have in the changing room. A lot of us can learn from his experience as well, also a former captain as well. So he's got great insight about the game as well. So, when it comes to Cremer, I think he ticks all the right boxes to be in the changing room, and we're all very happy for him to be there.
In other sports news, the Charles Manucci Boxing Academy is set to host the Trabablers Boxing Tournament in Chifu this weekend with Delta Force Promotions. Now, former WBC silver welterweight champion Charles Manucci says the tournament will be held in honor of President Emerson Mnangagwa's achievements.
Trabablers Boxing Tournament ikitwa kuchifu ikitwa mzwa 1 November Fusion country lodges muchifu. Saka Trabablers isidango takafoma this name nekuona mabasa arubarwa nemukuru wenyika kuti mabasa akanaka chaizvo. Saka isi takati Trabablers mabasa akanaka arikubarwa na president. Saka tikushuvira kuti tite ma tournaments in each and every province around Zimbabwe. Like 10 provinces. Saka toda kuita Trabablers Boxing Tournament 10 provinces. Tichitenda isiri kutenda nekutsigira nekuva neawareness yemadrugs kubva kune vechidiki mayouth.
And on to golf now. The 8th edition of the Parliament Charity Golf Tournament was held recently at the ZRP Golf Club, where parliamentarians, along other stakeholders, participated in a golf tournament with proceeds to be donated to vulnerable communities, to vulnerable members of the communities. The Deputy President of the Senate, retired Lieutenant General Michael Nyambuya, stated that they are committed to supporting the underprivileged in their communities as a means of staying connected with the populace.
We were elected by the people. We belong to the people. And therefore, we want to keep in touch with the people. And what we want to do basically is to see how we can go back to the people, assist the less privileged in society as a way of keeping in touch with the people who have put us where we are today. So the event is meant to raise resources which will be channeled to the less privileged, and I'm talking about old people's homes, children's homes, people in society who are going through difficult times. The resources which we raise here, we then channel them back to the people as a means of saying thank you.
Now, the Zimbabwe senior women's netball team ended their 3-game international friendly against Malawi in style. They were victorious in 2 of the 3 games that were played in the capital this past weekend. James assistant coach Perpetua Siachitema believes the friendly encounters gave them a chance to actually assess their players as well as prepare for future assignments.
I think it's very important, especially to us as coaches. You know, we've got a number of players here. We still need to train the squad. So I think playing with the two countries like Malawi means trained ahead of us. I think this is very important so that we can recruit our players. It's very important, especially with the Celtic Cup. Celtic Cup is going to help us prepare the summer tournament. So I think it's very important, especially when we are going to countries like Uganda, Namibia. I think it's really going to help us. It's going to help us, the coaches, also to come up with the better side for the summer.
Now, FC Hunters, the latest addition to the Castle Premier League, ended their Pacific Storm Eastern Region Division 1 season with a 1-1 draw against Deportivo La Murambinda at Uhera Stadium. ZTN Prime caught up with Hunters FC coach and chairman for insights into the team's preparedness for their Premier Soccer League debut, both technically and financially, who both emphasized the team's focus on adapting to the higher league, highlighting the squad's resilience and tactical adjustments.
Isusu seHunters FC aiwa takagadzirira zvizhinji kupinda mu Premier Soccer League ende pari panyaya pe sponsorship timu iyi isusu timhanya nayo timu haistori yedu asi timu ndiye Mashonaland East ende tikutaura kuti chunhu ichi hachizi kufanira kungogumira ipapo asi chikutofanira kunotora PSA champion.
We were waiting to finish the season first. So once we're done with the season like this, we're going back home, we sit down, we plan with the club, with everyone who is involved with the club. We see, what are the plans of the club going forward. Probably, we'll be in the PSO next season. So they have to give us, their plan so that we can know and we can start, preparing for next season.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus this Tuesday evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Have a good night.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.